If you were not in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, you missed out on a real treat and an offensive explosion, with both teams combining for more than 700 yards and putting up a total of 66 points. We're going to jump into the highlights. Last year on defense, the New Orleans Saints completely overhauled their front seven. Literally, it was who that at linebacker, who that on the defensive line, who that made that sack. 7 innings wasn't enough as Bursley and North Verlin went back and forth all night long in the 3A state championship. Down 2-0, Carly David Knox won through the second base side and scores a couple runs that ties it at 2. Southern's hopes of competing for a SWAC championship come to an end tonight after losing to Grambling State. Despite getting off to a hot start, after a couple turnovers, the Jaguars were really never the same, and the Tigers explode on offense.
There's no solution. And concussions are going to happen. I don't care how much better the fields are. I don't care how much better the helmets become. According to the CDC, sports-related concussions have reached an epidemic level, with nearly 1.6 to 3.8 million happening each year in the United States. And as a result, participation in contact sports such as youth football dropped by 19%. Well, I just cringe when I see, I drive, part of me used to smile and go, oh, look at all these kids, but now I cringe. The helmet doesn't fit the kid, and he's running down and he gets just crushed by, 3 kids. Currently, there's not a cure for concussions, but a doctor from Florida State believes he's made the discovery of a lifetime.
We're developing the first drug to actually treat concussion, a solution that can be given on the sidelines immediately within 10 minutes of the brain injury.
A treatment that begins to work almost immediately.
Once that concussion is diagnosed, the treatment is given immediately. It's given nasally. It's a fat-loving drug, so it diffuses right into your brain. It's in your brain in less than 5 minutes. It can diffuse throughout your entire brain in less than 30 minutes.
Kicking fluids off the brain and reducing swelling inside the skull. A treatment Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre endorses 100%.
There it is. So you blow the drug into the nose. And, let's talk about something that's very important. Dylan Thomas, who was a high school football player, passed away last week.
Thomas suffered a concussion during the game, then sat out a couple plays before re-entering the game a second time and taking another blow, the one that ultimately took his life.
He had massive bleeding in his brain. I believe that if we had a drug, something like Prevacus, that we could have reduced some of the swelling immediately on the sidelines, and he'd had a much better chance to survive.
So are you telling me that this young kid from Georgia would be here today if this treatment was available?
I believe he would have had a much better chance of surviving.
Nearly 300,000 high school athletes suffer concussion each year, and Dr. Van Landingham wants to make sure not another athlete loses their life participating in a sport they love. Prevacus will enter its first phase of human trials in January 2019 and could be picked up by the FDA in a couple years. Corey Howard, Fox 23 News. In life, nothing comes easy. Sometimes you have to fight. Louisiana's 2-time Golden Glove champion Darius Lewis gives credit to boxing for helping him overcome childhood struggles.
Well, first of all, boxing found me, honestly. I grew up, I guess you say overweight, slightly picked on. At the same time, wanted to find something I could release my aggression with as well.
That's when Lewis put the gloves on in hopes of building his inner character inside of the ring.
It builds confidence, builds character. Like I said, it builds confidence and it builds character. You can live day to day through the ring, stress and struggles, you go through the ring, same thing happen in life. Because what you put in is what you get out.
Lewis's determination and growing confidence caused him to start looking forward and start eyeballing Louisiana's Golden Gloves tournament.
But the very first time I did it, once again, I wrote it on my calendar, maybe like a month out. Said I will become 2015 Golden Glove champion. And then when it happened, it was so surreal. Like, it didn't set in until like a week later. I realized I actually won it. Sat on my bed, and I was like, you did it, D. You did it. So it's like one step, one test at a time.
One test at a time is Lewis's approach. Now a personal trainer and still an amateur boxer, Lewis says his eyes are now looking forward to the pros.
So you can look for me top of the year or mid 2017, around May. Top of the year or May 2017. But until then, I will be training every single day in and day out.
Corey Howard, WAFB 9 Sports. In the South, football is king. But here in Shreveport, Louisiana, it doesn't get any cooler than ice hockey.
I don't use living in Louisiana as an excuse. Like, I know looking at all these players that I'm playing with, they did it. They're all from non-traditional hockey places. And this place is hockey. It's hockey. You just have to make it hockey, and that's what I try to do.
The ice may be cold, but 11-year-old Kason Musket says hockey warms his heart like no other.
It's great. Like, every day, even just being on the ice, it's amazing. Like, coming out here every day, like I said, just amazing. It's nothing that can top it. The ice is my home.
Musket's passion for a puck has been passed down.
My biggest inspiration was my dad. He really just inspires a lot of people, but he really inspired me just to be me.
Kason's father, Scott Musket, is a former player for the minor league hockey team, the Shreveport Mudbugs. Now Scott currently serves as the team's general manager. In his role as a dad, he sees his son's skills with a stick.
Elbows to hands, nice and loose. At 11, I was nowhere near where he is right now.
Hockey may be unique in the Deep South, but in Shreveport, it's created a bond worth more than any goal.
You know, when we're out here together, I think we say, I love you, I love you, I love you 70 times in an hour.
I love you.
Oh, having fun?
We have lots of fun. You're the best.
Because we're both doing what we love to do, and we both love watching each other do what the other loves to do. And it really brings you, you know, this is a special place. And I don't just mean any rink, any place. This rink is a special place. You know, this rink is here because of a father's love for his son. And every time I'm out here, I remember that, and I know this sounds crazy, but I feel it.
A heartfelt bond between father and son on the ice. The Shreveport Mudbugs return for regular season action this fall. Corey Howard, KSLA Sports.